Alrighty, so we are back, and you may have just heard the special guest in the background. Just going to throw this one up, just so you guys know who it is. In case you didn't recognise the hello, I am joined by the incredible Jack Frags. He has kindly agreed to join me in the finals here, and I kind of wanted to go into this a little bit earlier with you because, you know, a lot of people know you for what you do and the content you bring, but not everyone knows that you also play for Epsilon as well, and you are actually a part of the competitive scene, not just, you know, making the incredible videos that you do. And, you know, how are you doing tonight?
Yeah, very good. You just said that I play for Epsilon.
I lied. It's Infused.
That's correct. I'd love to play for Epsilon. Not that there's anything wrong with Infused.
Wow, but, I'll tell Vanquish that. I'll be like, no, he's been insulting you parlously the whole time now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm cool with that. You can go and say that. No, I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, and one of the reasons that I don't really post much competitive stuff is that, you know, the general YouTube audience doesn't really find it that interesting because it's mainly just everyone using the same gun.
I do get that a lot. I do understand that it does kind of be a little like, oh man, this doesn't look so pretty when they're just playing.
This isn't Battlefield, right? Come on, where are the vehicles?
Oh man. Wow, jeez, you are just becoming Twitch chat. You know that you're literally being Twitch chat right now. This is all I see, like coming down. Just where's the vehicle? Is this just...
Why is everyone using the same gun?
God, this is boring. Jeez. But yeah, this seems to be a bit low quality actually on Skype for some reason. It seems to be lagging a little bit, so I might switch this up to maybe TeamSpeak or something else. Because
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we might need to do that. So, guys, we're going to do that in just a second. So do bear with us. We'll try and grab a TeamSpeak from somewhere. If you have one, that'd be really awesome if you could drop that over to me, if possible. I would love you sincerely for that one. So yeah, Jack will be joining us, but he'll be on TeamSpeak rather than Skype because Skype sounds awful, and we will actually have a bit of a chat with him before we go live. And yeah, I love Jack Frag, so he's a pretty cool guy to be able to talk to and actually get some. You know, as we said, he's not just, you know, a casual player that some of you may know, or, you know, he may not just be the guy that you watch on YouTube. He does play for Infused, not Epsilon, because I lied to you guys, because I was just thinking about the finals. Let me just jump on this with him. And we'll get this going, so he hopefully won't sound like a robot, which is always a bonus. You know, no one wants to hear Jack Frags as a robot. Here we go. The ever beautiful TeamSpeak never lets me down. There we are.
Hey.
That sounds incredible. We can finally hear you. Don't sound like a robot. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame it on my side.
I am a robot, so you know.
Well,
it's best this way.
So
yeah, I can't stand
go
Skype.
ahead.
I think the quality is terrible sometimes. Like TeamSpeak's way more reliable.
I tend to agree, sadly. But, you know, I did want to talk to you about this before, because you do play for Infused, and you played in the games actually in this cup. And some of the stuff you guys were doing was actually really damn good, but you seem to struggle in the end towards some of the later opponents. Do you still find your competitive Battlefield that fun, or are you maybe just kind of jumping in every now and then to kind of fill the numbers? Or how are you doing with the old competitive scene?
I mean, me personally, I don't think BF4 is a very good competitive game.
Mm-hmm.
I just enjoy playing competitive, you know, first-person shooters, and that's one of the main reasons that I'm still doing it. And obviously, because of my YouTube, Battlefield's very relevant.
Of course.
But you know, with all the problems, the fundamental problems that BF4 has, it doesn't make for a very good esports title, especially from a spectator standpoint.
Yeah.
And I don't think the domination game mode is actually that interesting to watch. You know, obviously, the big FPS at the moment, of course, is CS:GO, and it always has been Counter-Strike.
It's hard to dethrone that.
It is, and the reason it's so popular is because it's so tense and round-based. You know, each player death is very important, and you get these super cool, you know, 1v3 clutches or even 1v5 sometimes, and you don't really see that in BF4 domination. You don't get that tension. It's just, oh, there's a triple cap, oh, there's a double cap. So from a spectator standpoint, I don't really enjoy it, but what I love is just the competition, you know, just playing the game. Yeah, I mean, we're going to I-51 this weekend. Not that it's a massive Battlefield tournament going on there, but it's going to be fun to play in. And,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, some of the Infused guys, I've never met them before, so it's going to be sweet just you know, seeing them in real life. And
it's good to put a face to a name. You know what I mean? It does make a big difference.
It makes a huge difference. Yeah.
But I do also kind of want to let you guys know as well. Obviously, Jack doesn't just play Battlefield. You actually played quite at the top of the scene for some point in CS:GO, so you do actually know esports fairly well. If anyone's just assuming you're making assumptions here, not quite the case. Are you on the server and you're all ready as well? Are you all good to go?
Yes, I think I'm all good to go. Yeah.
Awesome, that's perfect. So I did just turn you up in TeamSpeak, so hopefully that's all good for Twitch chat and they're happy. But basically I'm bringing Jack in so actually someone knows something about the game who's not just me pretending, because normally I lie and just, pretend I know something which Dogbert says. I just steal his ideas. So hopefully you can bring a little bit of insight with it.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. I mean, this is... Well, I have actually casted one game before, and that was live. That was like an event I did in Wembley Stadium.
Wow,
which
okay.
I didn't really tell anyone about. It was sort of, behind closed doors or whatever. So I've done it once before.
No pressure now. You've been on a bigger stage than I have. So.
Well, we'll see how it goes. It's going to be good fun, I think.
Well, I can't wait to see this one. So obviously in the finals we do have MYM up against Epsilon, so two brilliant teams. Maybe not the final most people predicted to probably be Epsilon Fnatic, but MYM looked great today. And your prediction on this one, which one are you saying's probably got the edge here?
I think Epsilon are going to win this. Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
They are pretty damn
team.
strong. They were tying at the top, I think, with Fnatic so far. If they win this, I think they'll actually already get the points over the top of the opponents anyway, so they will be top of the league. So it's not a bit of a stretch of the imagination to kind of go, yeah, these guys, they're pretty damn good. Obviously, I've never actually played against them. You've had probably the pain of doing it before, and I can imagine it's pretty damn tough to play against these guys on occasion.
Yeah, I mean, both MYM and Epsilon, fantastic teams. Obviously, MYM won the first EMS with BF4. They just dominated that, and Epsilon put up a good performance there too. But online recently, based on practice and based on other results, I think Epsilon are just doing really well, and they're really shown that they are one of the best, if not the best team at the moment in competitive BF4 in Europe.
Most certainly, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing any other regions kind of breaking out as well, because Battlefield is a global game. It's not just Europe playing it, but it's rare to see anyone from across the pond, as we say, really joining in. So it'd be good to see a bigger scene coming out as well. But we will be starting with, I believe, MYM on the Chinese side. Let's see if my overlays are lying to me. They are. Let me change that around. And Epsilon starting on the US side. Now, what is the initial ideal sites you want to be getting in this sort of setup? Let's say you are MYM right now. Where are your initial thoughts coming into this?
Okay, so obviously they're doing the spawn trick at the moment, MYM, so you can suicide a few times and you can get on someone's head. You jump over instead of having to run up the ramp and around, which means that your teammates can spawn on you, and as you can see, you can get 3, maybe 4, they're going for a 4-man push on B at the moment, and they're going to be on that flag for Epsilon are because of that.
And that's a big bit of ground to be covering. So they pretty much get gifted A by spawn, but they now have to obviously win these 1v1s. And without the Scar H in play, obviously not as a vital role, maybe where Marzu is. He's not going to be able to land those shots as easily, now running with a slightly different weapon. But still, at the moment, B still being contested. But, MYM with that good start do have the higher ground to work down from. B has been won over by Epsilon. So, even with MYM getting that great start behind them, what went wrong for them? Just not winning those one-on-ones?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, B is a really hard flag to defend. I think from both sides at the start of the round, especially. But Marsu up there on the platform is so important to control on this map. If you get one, maybe you can even have 2 people up there sometimes, and because of all the boxes that you have there, there's all these cheeky little head glitch positions which make you nigh on impossible to hit. And if you can control that platform, you see they've actually got 2 Epsilon players on there at the moment, although they've lost the B flag. But it's really important to control that, I think.
Mars is doing a great job, and he's not necessarily always getting the kills, but he's just working them down solo and keeping control of the entirety of the street and the right side and making B near on impossible to kind of get themselves situated in towards. So Epsilon eventually will be in the better position to retake this side back into their hands. David picking up a couple of kills here is certainly going to help towards that, and it looks like Asterix will be turning this one around, so he's going to pick up B, take this over, so it should be a 2-1 hold, and it's still a very close even game at the start, so MYM not quite being bullied out just yet. But at what point do you think Epsilon have become, a little bit of an impossible, enemy to overcome? Because sometimes they just seem to get to these points where they're picking up these trip caps and just constantly being this aggressive team. What does it take for these guys to get there? What's the ideal setup they're looking for to be able to maintain the tickets?
I mean, on this map, I love the AB setup. like Epsilon have at the moment, and you see there, Horek actually made a cheeky little flank on highway and got onto A, and I think it was Asterix that spawned on him, and no, it might have been David actually. He picked up 2 kills, and it doesn't matter that MYM have now pushed to C because Epsilon have just gone for the loop and taken A back. Also in that position where Horek is right now, that is a really good spot to defend highway from because you have that box there. And that's a really nice head glitch, although it looks like MYM are making a triple push at the moment onto the flag. They've taken him out, so maybe we're going to see a nice CA hold here from MYM.
Well, let's see if they can hold on to this, because Epsilon are looking like they want to bully their way through once again. They're not going to let A go to waste. They want to get back in here. Punch is still fairly close to the site, so he could come back around if he fancies it, but I think they're going to leave this one. Punch is going for a bit of a little bit of a loop here, maybe waiting some reinforcements to come back in to give him some support, as pushing him by yourself doesn't really normally end that well. And I think Safe's finding that out. Jukes picked it up, and there's that triple cap. You said that these guys, once they get that control down on the map, once they get these ideal setups and they use these positions that they're so good at, that's when they become this real threat. And it looks like they've kind of done that. And MYM, where do you always fall back to for your safe site? They've just about picked up A, but was that the best site to pick up there, or was there maybe a safer one they could have fallen back to?
I mean, it depends on which spawn you get, when you're in a triple cap situation like that. But I think MYM are actually trying to push here for that AB hold. But if you look at David 2K, he's still up on that platform. And I also noticed that Marsu has literally only just left it. I mean, he just ran onto the A flag to defend there and died, but they're just dominating that platform, and I really think MYM need to see if they can take control of that. And it looks like Punctual is making a move there at the moment. He's going to be in a 1v1 with David. So let's see who wins out on this one, maybe.
Yeah, Punch doesn't seem to be putting his attention there just yet. I think that nade's going to swing it around. Oh, wow. Great nade coming through there. David
Tasty.
David really just stamping his authority on that, little bit of a overlook there towards that B side. He's not allowing it through. Flax tried a little bit down that highway side. Not going to have too much luck, and it looks like a little bit of a slaughtering field at the moment. Epsilon just mopping up these kills time and time again, and MYM are a very talented team individually, but even in these one-on-ones at the moment, Epsilon look a little bit more dominant, and they have that 2-to-1 hold. It's B and C. It's not maybe the ideal one. Do you think they may go for a swing of a rotate up towards A, or just kind of work this one out as much as possible?
Well, at the moment, Epsilon very much in control of this game, I think. So if they've got that BC hold, I don't see why they would make the push for A. I mean, if you actually see David's on there, he's going to get challenged by Waffy, who's a brilliant player. Someone else has spawned on him. David picked up the first kill there, but I think he's going to get killed now. He's down. But again, look, it doesn't matter that they've got bodies on the A flag now, because Duke and Asterix are on that C flag, and there's only one MYM player there. I think that's what Epsilon do really well, is they always have that one player just in that cheeky little position, just not making any noise. He's not going for kills. He's just ready in case the other team do push for one of the other flags, and they can spawn bomb on him and just take the other flag back, and that's what they do so well.
Yeah, and it was a perfect example there of Marzu pretty much on his own by B before his teammates obviously got over here from that C kind of exchange in A. He got a nice little double and set it up to be retaken over, and once again David back on that catwalk, just providing brilliant cover, allowing the likes of Duke to get a little bit more aggressive, but he does get taken down. But still, it's all the time he's just buying for his side at any 2-to-1 hold. 107 tickets to 47. Is there a limit for a player in this game where you just go, we can't do anything more here, or do you have to really play for that last ticket?
I mean, you do get like that sometimes, especially if someone gets like an early triple cap, like Epsilon did here. You just think, oh crap, they've triple capped us already. We can't possibly beat these guys. Like, it is possible to get out of that rut, if you really work on your tactics and you've got someone leading you and saying, right, this is what we need to do. This is where we're going. Okay, no messing around. We're going to go and take this flag. And if you happen to get it, it can spur a bit of a comeback. But, I definitely think that looking at the ticket deficit that MYM have now, I don't see them coming back to this particular round. But, I mean, if you just look at that Epsilon player he's flanking on the highway again, background to A. Who was that? That's Marsu,
Yep.
And if you look where the MYM players are, he's going to be able to probably neutralise that flag. We've got Punctual who's going to challenge him. It's going to be a 1v1 here. He's giving away his position because of the metal detectors. So, now, they've got two players there now. They're definitely going to get that cap. Easy.
100%. They've maintained C. They've got A. They've let go of B, but they've still got a nice little split to maybe retake this one. Asterix taking up that position down by the Catwalk B. Doesn't quite make it count, so maybe spread themselves a little bit too thin, but still, they still have such a ticket lead there. They've got 10 tickets against them pretty much to be worried about, and the A exchange is still kind of going their favor. Till Punchroll did break through, but the respawns coming in for Epsilon will mean they maintain this site. And it looks like Epsilon just want to power straight down towards B. MYM do have players on this Catwalk, so maybe that's something they should be looking forward to or looking towards doing in the second half here, because they haven't really had much control there. And as you pointed out at the very start, it's such an important position to have. Yeah, they kind of gifted it over to Epsilon very early on and didn't really challenge David when he was up there. During these kind of halves that you go through and you obviously now start again and you do the same thing over with maybe a deficit or a lead, what sort of adaptation can you make in that time? Because it's quite a short little break. You're not going to have a lot of time to discuss things. Is it literally, okay, we need to get Catwalk. Okay, we need to push this side more. What goes through a player's or a team's kind of communications during the break here?
Well, like I said, you do need that in-game leader to just say, okay, you spawn on me, you spawn on this person, blah, blah. You guys go this way, we'll go this way, and we're just going to make a big push for this flag. And, it's really important to have that person just organizing everything to get yourself out of that rut. But, unfortunately in this game, I think MYM just... they fell into that and maybe they just couldn't get out. And I do agree, I think they should have pushed for more control of that platform, because David was just on there, just dominating that, guys, this is my platform, come on. You come on here, you're going to get shot in the face, mate. And I think he did a brilliant job holding it down. And Duke, 18 for 10. Duke is a massive frag player. He always gets those frags, and obviously showing there against MYM, one of the best teams, that he can pull out all the stops.
And the other thing I wanted to highlight was Marzo, I think, only died once. And he's the player that we kept constantly seeing being in these positions, getting around the back. So he barely got found, even on the flanks. So every single small piece that kind of goes into the Epsilon puzzle just seems to always work very well. So MYM have a bit of a struggle on their hands now with a 94 ticket deficit, if you want to look at it that way, whichever way you do. Epsilon will be starting on the US side. No, I lied. MeetYourMakers will be on the US side.
Yes.
Epsilon will be on the Chinese side. And I can imagine we'll see the same stack at the start here for the any team starting in this position, probably. So is it something that's become commonplace, or has that just been a recent change?
Yeah, it's the whole spawn thing, it's kind of stupid that it's in the game. It shouldn't be in the game at all. But if you know the order of the spawns and you spawn on the right person, you can get yourself closer to a certain flag. Originally on Siege of Shanghai, one team spawned
on the point,
on the point, which is kind of stupid, but then they moved that. But still, on some other maps, you can actually get right up to the point and begin capping it within a few seconds. So, it's kind of dumb, and the teams that don't know about this are going to be at a big disadvantage. I just wish that it wasn't in the game, to be honest, but just face facts, it is, and people are going to use it because you can get to those important positions quicker than the other team if you take advantage of it.
Yeah, and I think you said the right thing there as well, is that when it's in a game, sometimes you do have to just go ahead and do what's there to support your team, and it's not always maybe the most fair thing in the world, but you see teams like Fnatic constantly getting some sort of grief about when they find this new kind of positioning or they use this new kind of strategies, but as soon as every other team knows it, they'll be doing the same thing and there'll be a counter soon enough. But once again, we are seeing, actually this time around, MYM did trumpet a player up on that balcony. It was Waffy, but he got taken down pretty damn quickly there. But from the start, how's this one kind of gone down here? Have either of the sides got a good foothold going forward? Or is it still quite even?
Yeah, I think Epsilon just straight away, they've turned things around. They've got that AB cap. And you see David moving over to the platform. That's where he lives. And he ain't
back
moving
at
out.
home.
He's staying there. He loves it on there. I don't blame him. It's like I say, there are some fantastic positions. You can spot people as well really easy. Obviously, spotting is a massive part of this game in terms of pinging people on the mini-map and seeing where, generally where the other team is moving to. So, I think Epsilon doing the right thing there. And they got pushed off A, but, they've got the 2 kills at C. And Horrocks just gone and capped it. And if you look at the moment, we've got 3 Epsilon players actually quite aggressively making their way to A, perhaps.
Certainly testing the waters, and actually Asterix does win out in the 1v1 with Safe, so opening up a viable route through here. So maybe they will be starting to challenge, but it has left a little bit of a hole in the defense as Punchroll is making his way down the highway, looking towards C, maybe just trying to apply a little bit of pressure towards the opponents. And he has put it out one. He knows where one is. That's Horik picking up the kill, though. And around the back, Waffy is coming in to try and cap this one out and try and do some sort of damage, because at the moment, it's a 2-1 hold, but MYM look a little bit lost for a way through. They've finally taken down Horrocks. That has opened up C, but I'm not sure if they can even hold on to A if the likes of Asterix is pushing it. He does go down. But Epsilon are very aggressive here as well.
Yeah, I mean, they've lost C, but as you can see, David's on there, so if they want to spawn bomb on him, they could, and just go and take that flag.
Let's see if he can do it right now. It does seem as though MYM are trying to hold on by a little bit of a whisker, but let's bear in mind, 94 tickets is not far away from the US team right now of MeetYourMakers. They're pretty damn close to losing out on this first map, and any sort of 2-1 hold will probably swing this over in favor to Epsilon. And, you know, I think that's on the MYM minds right now, because they have C, but they're just struggling to make any sort of impact. Would be finally winning over on the site, but 101 tickets to 94, which is their base limit, is not far off, really, as Duke does go down. Punch trying to do what he can, but you're seeing those tickets just still trickling away. The kills are coming in. Every single respawn is going to cost them these tickets, and Epsilon, we know these guys can land the shots, and they're looking very close to picking up the B site as well here.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, how do you get yourself out of that rut, you know?
Yeah.
And when you lose the first round by that many tickets, unless you get a very good start, things start looking very depressing, you know, straight away.
Yeah.
If you don't get that double cap or even that triple cap straight away, then it does get in your head, and you think, well, there's no way we're going to win. You know, we haven't kept enough tickets, and the game's only just started. So, yeah, well, I can definitely see Epsilon holding on and winning this one.
Yeah, well, they've got the first map, so it's certainly a very good way to start things off. And checking in with the scoreboard, Ducky did get he went 10-4, so did Asterix. So both players did really well, but it's just the way that Epsilon handle themselves is a little bit formidable, to say the least. So we will be waiting on, obviously, the next map. I'm not sure what that was. I think I wrote it over to you. I can't remember what I said it was. So Dawnbreaker was the first, and that's gone. Over to Epsilon, the current #1 team within the season. But I'm kind of looking forward to the next couple of maps to see what these guys kind of bring out, because Epsilon aren't unbeatable. They have been challenged, and we saw that not too long ago in obviously the offline finals, and you know it takes a lot to do it. But you know, I'm always surprised when I see LAN upsets. That's the one thing that does get me, is that you know a team that can perform so well online sometimes they really do struggle in these offline situations. And you know, Battlefield, in a way, if you weren't part of Battlefield 3, I guess you never really had that offline experience. And do you think by now maybe Epsilon are getting built back up to that point where they could maybe do a little bit better on these offline events, because they look so dominant during the online season?
Yes, I mean, you know, there's always going to be teams that people say, oh, they're online heroes, or, you know, do it online.
Yeah, of course.
But I think with the confidence that Epsilon are gaining online, because they just seem to be winning everything, I think, you know, at the next EMS finals, then I don't see why they couldn't go on and win it. As long as they bring that confidence across, and you know, they've got experienced players who aren't going to get nervous on LAN, because that's one of the most important things about playing on LAN. Is if you're nervous and if you don't have that much experience, especially when there's cameras around and stuff, that can really affect the way you play. And when you're at home, you're on your own PC in your pajamas, your Batman pajamas, you know, you've got your own setup and everything. You feel really confident. You feel like you can take on the world. But if these players aren't ready for that, you know, when they're thrown into a LAN environment, that can make a big difference. But I can really see Epsilon doing well at the next EMS. I hope they carry on the same momentum that they've been getting online.
No, I completely agree, and I think you summed it up quite well there. A lot of people will say, "Oh, they're not legit." There's a lot more than that when it comes to these offline events. And the ESL studios, they're not light on cameras. Literally, there's a camera in their faces 24/7, and it is a lot different. So even desk height comes into play. I remember a Quake player literally measuring the difference between the arms on his chair to the desk height to the mouse mat, so he could get it almost exactly to the same feel at home. But you know, It's still not. Yeah, that guy went to some real measures. But it's still not the same. It is very hard to get that confidence and get that comfortability, and I kind of hope they get there. But you know, I think we need to look outside of just these two teams as well. You know, there's a lot of teams coming up through the scene, and you know, who do you think is going to be the surprise coming into this one? Because obviously we had a surprise at the last season. Is there any teams upcoming that you think might do well?
I don't think there's going to be any big surprises really. I mean, Fnatic are they have they permanently replaced Winghaven with Drunks?
Yes, they have.
So it'll be interesting to see how they perform because obviously they're going to be at the finals again.
Yeah.
MYM really good on LAN. Obviously they've proved that. So I can't see there being any massive surprises really. I think the top three are pretty much going to be Epsilon, MYM, Fnatic. Just trying to think who else might be there that would potentially cause an upset.
See, normally I have to be nice to Dogbert and say Dignitas, but, you're not biased. So it's fine. I can be like,
Right.
Dignitas won't make it there, it's fine. But Infuse as a team, they're not, a bad set of players at all. They're very competent. But what do you think it would take to get you guys maybe to these sort of events? Is it just, maybe a lack of playing, the whole time? You not have as much time to be dedicated to it, or maybe not as much passion towards it? I don't know. What would maybe take a team like yourselves, to the point where you could be maybe making it to the offline finals?
I think it's just practice. That's it. We don't practice anywhere near as much as the other teams do. And when you're playing against teams like Epsilon, who, 2v2 each other, they 2v2 each other in their own server, and they're hardcore about prac. And I mean, there are a couple of guys in my team that don't really enjoy the game as much as say like we did with BF3. So sometimes it is hard to get motivated and practice when all this, you've got all these problems with the game, like inverted commas, netcode, is so bad, and you're dying around corners, and the fact that they've banned a couple of the weapons now simply because they're the cause of so many one-hit kill deaths online. Sometimes that doesn't make the game that enjoyable online. So I think it's just a case of practice. I mean, I think our players individually are very good, but we just don't have the same amount of practice that these other guys do. And if we want to get better, we just got to slap ourselves in the face and just go, come on, let's dig deep. And we do have busy schedules, so I don't know. We'll see how things go.
Well, we can imagine maybe you guys will start making it a little bit further. You guys have been doing pretty well, to be fair. You've been getting a good couple of points in, but as with so many teams at the top staying at the top, it's very hard to break into that top six. Maybe there are always these same teams rotating. But let's get into the game because we are into the second map here, and it will be Zavod. So a bit of a good map for Epsilon, which is a worrying sight for any MYM fan. MYM will be on the Russian side, I do, but MYM will be on the Russian side. Epsilon will be on the US side. I'm not lying to myself. And I think I fixed the overlay because I misspelt their name because I am tired. But from the start, quite a close game so far. But who do you think's got the edge on this one? Because they're not the most similar teams. They have fairly different play styles. Who do you think suits this one a little bit better?
Are they live now, by the way? Is this live?
Oh, yes, they are live.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, Epsilon have just moved away from the B flag, and the MYM actually have safe there, but he's going to get killed for sure. I mean, they've got 3 players surrounding him. Zavod, I don't think is a particularly good competitive map. I think it's one of the worst. And if you probably know that they banned the roofs and they banned the ladders. And I kind of think that when a tournament, when you play in a game that has that, where they have to ban parts of the map, it's a pretty bad map anyway. Obviously we've got Epsilon. They've got the 2 flags here, B and C, which is pretty much. No, I don't know. I mean, this map's a funny one. Sometimes it's better to try and control AC, because obviously B is sort of out of the way a little bit. Yeah. And you can see now, MYM have actually picked up the AC hold there. But the thing is about the B flag, there's so many little nooks and crannies to hide in because of all the tanks, and you see there Epsilon have just got Asterix just holding back there. He's on top of a tank at the moment, and that's a pretty nasty head glitch position. It's quite hard to hit there, so we'll see what Epsilon can do here. Duke just got the spawn there, I think, at the back of C, and David spawned on him, so they might make a push for the C flag, but the C flag is really hard to take because it's got the upper and the lower level, and you can just get people camping on the stairs. That's a great position. Whereas the A flag is much more open and it's a little harder to defend. But wow, MYM have actually got the triple cap right now.
I think you summed it up perfectly with every single site then. Every single thing that could have, been an issue for, let's say, Epsilon actually trying to make their attack, it was that positioning coming in on B, the way that A can be held, and the same on C. They struggled, and at the moment, MYM going to have to find, a good way to lock this one down and keep hold of this, because, for an extended bit of time, they've held this trip cap. Epsilon have not found a way back in yet. They are struggling to find a route through. Horek in mid does try to pick up kill, gets denied by Flak, so maybe opening up a bit of a chance towards taking over that C site, and we're seeing Duke toying with the idea of keeping it there. He's got Asterix in tow, using those stairs like you said, just peering up and over, making it a damn hard shot. We do have a couple of players finally coming around from MYM. They don't seem to want to give away any side. They want a triple cap the whole time through rather than a 2-to-1. Yeah. And Flax is doing the damage, but as you said, those upper and lower levels coming into play, making it so hard to land these shots. It's just not an easy battle to win through. Epsilon have found a way through the lower section, so they did finally get it, but that's still 1 side to 2, but they look like they've got good spawns for B here. Yeah,
they've done a nice little loop there, and I don't think MYM actually had anyone defending that point on that occasion, so that's a pretty easy cap for Epsilon there. But Safe and Ducky going to make a push on C, but like I said, notoriously hard to cap that flag. Let's see if they can do it.
They're giving it a good try. Yeah, they're being taken out right now. Safe is just trying to dive in, but he's even struggling to make it down to the lower floor. He has got himself in here, and they've seemed to just overwhelm Epsilon and get the respawns in. David goes down, so it does seem as though MYM have actually brute forced their way in. It wasn't pretty at all, but it seemed to work. It was game of numbers. It was just, they won it out. They won the 1v1s, and fair play to them. But now it seems to be going down towards that B site. It is still in the hands of Epsilon, but even challenges forming here. And Epsilon are really struggling to get back into this, it seems. They can't seem to get their comfort zone that they seem to kind of slouch into. And, well, I don't know what to say. MYM are looking very strong so far.
Yes, they certainly are. We've got a 1v1, though, on the A flag at the moment. Well, I think Waffy's going to take him out, though.
He's certainly got a good idea where he is.
Oh no! Wow, David coming out on top.
Yeah, David picking up the kill then, vital as well, I've got to say. And there was, no one else there to really challenge him, so David will be holding on to this by himself. One player now on the rotate, possibly laying down some fire, but it's all going down a B. MYM forcing the way back here by numbers towards this site. Punch and Ducky picking that one up, and we are seeing the push across from Epsilon towards the C site. Horek, Duke, and David looking to challenge, but once again, it's a game of numbers on occasion, and they're certainly up against the odds as Waffy does get revived in there. Asterix coming through. They are looking like they want to turn this one around, but now it's about that upper level. Can they pick up the kills? I think Asterix just about did, and this is where Epsilon can get pretty dangerous, but they didn't find Safe, and Safe is in a great position.
Yeah, I think... they might spawn... No, well, they've only got one more player that could spawn him. He gets taken out, so... Yeah. Unlucky.
It could have been magical. It could have been something. But 76-40 is still a very close game, and at the moment it's kind of in favour to MYM, but with the setup currently going on, this could be a 2-to-1 decent hold, but it looks like the A's going to be picked up by MYM here, and B still in their hands. Epsilon are really struggling to find a route back in here.
Yeah, Horek's going to try and take B, but I don't think he's going to win out on this one. We'll see what he can do. I'm just following right now.
Yeah, he's giving it a good try. He's come around the back. He does find Waffy, so a good start to say at least. He's got the respawns on him. They have the numbers to now challenge. Duke does the work towards Punch, and, once again, it seems to be...
Well done Epsilon there. That was a great push. They did well.
Yeah, and it seems to be not the pretty game of Battlefield we can occasionally see. This literally seems to be how many numbers can we get on this site before they overly rotate and kind of deny us this. So Epsilon trying to kind of pick up the A site on their own. That'll be Asterix there doing what he can by himself. He is joined in the end by David, but B is now being challenged once again. This side going both ways. Flat out exchange. Marzu and Ducky changing over, but Safe is on the side, so he should be able to get this one in the hands of MYM. And Epsilon tickets are getting very low at the moment. What's going wrong for them?
Well, I don't know really. I mean, I think MYM have been quite strong. They were very strong with the initial hold there at the start of the game. They've led actually quite a few tickets down, and I think they're going to hold on to this one. But it is getting closer.
Yeah, 58-24.
Yeah, they've got the double cap at the moment. I think this is going to be a very close game.
Oh, it's going to come down to these next couple of flag holds and captures, and right now C is going both ways. Asterix down below, holding on. B and C are in the hands of Epsilon, but here comes the push coming in from MYM. Waffy and Ducky making their way through, and actually they're picking up the kills, and they're turning it right around. C is going MYM's way for now, and there's no real response from Epsilon.
No, MYM just denied them there. Absolutely denied them.
That was perfect play from MYM, and this is the MYM that can cause upsets. This is the MYMs that can cause, truly surprising results at lands. And 50 tickets